Mayor. Happy Fat Tuesday.
Well, thank you. Was that aimed at me there, Joe? Gee. Wow. Well, thank you, and same to you.
Thank you so much.
Something I always celebrated, though, I must admit.
Unfortunately, a whole different look to it, just like everything else right now.
Yeah, true indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading actually where some of the churches are shifting plans for Ash Wednesday tomorrow, using cotton swabs to administer the ashes, or sprinkling ashes on folks' heads instead of actually physically touching.
Yeah, I mean, it's times like this that you have to be a little creative, and I think the various churches are responding such. I think some are using extended Q-tips. So, it's certainly an important day. It was always an important day in my household growing up, and Catholic Christian tradition. And so we overeat today, and then we fast tomorrow.
That's right.
But it's that time of year for Christians where we take a step back and see how we can do better as individuals to prepare us for the citizenship in heaven. And I know each of the major religions has similar types. I know Ramadan is big with the Muslim community, and certainly Jewish community has their time. But this is the big start for the 40 days of Lent for the Christians across the world.
Yeah, and the message is universal, a time of rebirth and new beginnings, and I'm sure we can all relate to that.
Rebirth, repentance, and new beginning.
Yes.
Easter culminates in that new beginning.
And it can't come soon enough.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody's had it, I think, really.
How is the vaccination clinic with Manit going?
It's interesting. I know there's some folks that are, anxious to get it, and I understand that. But I was reading the other day, Joe, that there's 130 countries that don't have one vaccine yet.
Oh, gosh.
So we're, we as Americans are impatient. We demand everything. And I know the pharmaceuticals did a phenomenal job rushing this, and the federal government gave them the green light and gave them plenty of money to do it. Having said that, in Quincy, I think it's going well.
Yeah.
We're getting them out as quick as we get them in. I've gotten a number of notes from seniors who were delighted with the process. They felt welcome. They said the staff and the folks were terrific and caring, and so I think we're doing the best we possibly can under the circumstances.
Yeah, I was at one of the CVS's in Braintree over the weekend that's giving out the vaccine, and same type of sentiment. People just grateful. The healthcare workers, very accommodating, and there was a kind of a genuine feeling of goodwill and good spirits. So I'm hoping that.
Yeah, and at 180 Gold Colony, we have a lot of volunteers that are helping out, and just for and I know I've said it once, I've said it 100 times, but in these difficult times, people always step up. We have a great community, and there's a number of people from the medical, some are retired nurses. They've come in to volunteer and assist and help, and just to do the right thing. They're not looking for anything out of it, except that they love their community and want to do the right thing. So it's good stuff. Amidst all the doom and gloom of this, in the middle of winter and all that, there's a lot of great people out there that really give us hope.
Absolutely. I talk with people in the public safety realm every day here in Quincy, and a lot of them have already been vaccinated and grateful for it as well. I know there was a concerted effort to make sure first responders were vaccinated.
Absolutely. They're on the front lines. Them and the medical workers, so absolutely, yeah.
On that realm, I'd like to ask you, Mayor, any news on a health commissioner?
No news.
Okay.
No news. As I said, I've interviewed two people. One has declined, and I'm waiting to hear from the other.
Okay.
It's interesting because I know sometimes the public thinks every public employee is overpaid and underworked, et cetera, but the pay for the health commissioner is probably not where it should be. And these are the times when you kind of realize that people are going to leave the comfort of a job they're in with good pay to take a job that if for example, if I don't run again and as a new mayor, they may make a change in the health commission. All those things matter when someone's looking at their career, and I understand that. So, those are considerations that we're going to have to look at going forward on some of the salary levels of some of our professionals, At any rate, hopefully I'll hear by the end of the week on the second candidate, and If that's a go, great. If it's not, then we'll go back to the drawing board, as they say.
Right.
Yeah. And the reality is, even if one of these folks had indicated they would take it at this point, it would be a couple of months before they get here because they don't want to leave, their post in the public health realm right now with what's going on with the pandemic. And I understand that. So, not going to be easy, but we'll get there.
Okay.
And as I said, we got a great team at our health department, so we haven't missed a beat.
One sign of hope, an in-person meeting tonight of elected officials to appoint a new school committee member.
Yes, the joint convention, which under our charter, when there's an opening on the school committee, under less than one election cycle, then the mayor calls a joint convention of both bodies, and we come together as both bodies as really to create one body to elect someone to fill the opening that exists. So that will happen tonight at 6:30 at the Quincy High cafeteria. It is not open to the public, but will be carried live by who, Joe?
QATV. Also on our website too for folks who are outside the city. Yeah.
Perfect. So that's a good thing, and basically the rule is we talk about one issue. That's the only thing this convention comes together for is to fill that spot. And I've indicated to each of the members and the public that I will accept nominations from the floor. We'll take a roll, and we'll continue to do that until we have somebody that achieves the quorum that we have there. So right now we're down one, obviously. There's normally 9 councilors and 7 school committee members, so it's 9 and 6, so that's 15, so you need 8. Now if we have if there's 2 missing tonight, for example, the person would need 7.
Oh, okay.
So it's the majority of the quorum present.
I see.
So, hopefully it'll be smooth, and we'll move on.
You said you intended to nominate Courtney Perdios. Is that still the case?
Well, I tend to support her.
Okay.
As chairman, I will not be nominating anybody running the meeting, but I expect her to be nominated. And I've met some other people that have come in to see me, and a couple of people I've known many, many years, and I've encouraged them to take out papers in May and run for the seat, or one of the 3 seats. But I just feel out of fairness, because Courtney had run a very hard campaign. It wasn't like she just put her name on the ballot.
Yeah.
She worked extremely hard. She was very involved in citywide prior, and she continued to be involved in citywide PTO after. So to me, she's proven that she's committed, and I just think that she deserves the vote in this round. So now others may disagree and that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinion, but that's where I'm coming from. And I'm not. I've known Courtney for years, but I don't go out and hang with Courtney. I wouldn't consider her in my inner friendship and all. I just have respect for her work ethic and her care for the kids at Quincy Public Schools, and she's proved it by the position she's held. So there's other people that are looking for this job that I've known for years that I'm far closer to. I would consider, not my inner circle, but certainly consider them friends. And so this is hard, but this is what we get elected to do, right? So.
Will Councilor Andronico get to vote on his successor?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, okay.
Yep. He's eligible voting member.
Mayor, any news on our State of the City address?
Well, I've circled next week, Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m., the 23rd, to deliver it. Just putting my thoughts together about it. It's an interesting year. It won't be the normal pomp and circumstance.
Right.
I could be speaking to a camera in an empty room. We'll figure that out. We'll see what happens. One of my staff members said, "Why don't you do it outside? Have a few people outside." Well, we're in the middle of February, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But
somebody who didn't like you very much.
Yeah, right. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's something I do, as you know, each year.
Yep.
It used to be midterm, then we went to 4-year terms. It's State of the City, and it gives me a chance to talk to the residents and voters directly and let them know where we stand.
Any special guests, perhaps, making an appearance?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
No.
All right. We will look forward to that, and
I'll look forward to getting it done.
Yeah, I am sure. I know it's not something that,
There's so much to talk about, Joe, and that's always the challenge.
Yeah.
I try to keep it, 15 minutes or so, and we're a good-sized city.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening, so there's so many different subjects we could be talking about. So I obviously would be addressing a little bit of what's gone on since the last March, and
Sure.
how we've responded, and then about the future. And it's all about going forward, right?
Well, speaking of that, next week begins possible in-person learning for grades 1, 2, and 3.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you had any indication as to how many folks might take part in that?
I haven't checked in with the superintendent recently. Okay. When I see him tonight, I'll probably check with him on that. But I know that it's very interesting. There's people that are very passionate to get back, and then there's people that just want to stay remote. And there's not a lot in between, Joe. It's very interesting. So, under the law, we have to provide remote anyway. So rather than this hybrid stuff, let's get them back in. The kids aren't getting sick, Let's get them back in. I said it a number of times at public meetings. I've said it on your show here in the morning show. There's no substitute for in-person learning. Now, I would suggest perhaps some of the gifted kids can do it fine remotely, but I know looking back, I was one of those middle-of-the-road average kids, and if I wasn't in the classroom and trying to do it on a computer at home, I don't think I'd be paying much attention, nor would be getting much out of it. And I'm not trying to speak for all the kids in the system, but the reality is, there's no replacement for a teacher in the classroom one-on-one with kids. So we got to get them back, I believe. We've lost an awful lot of educational time. And listen, it's understandable. This was a time that we've never experienced before. There's no playbook for this. So we just got to get back. And I do believe there'll be a look back by a lot of studies. And I do think that the mental health issues, the anxiety issues, the addiction issues, the abuse issues, all those things that would fall perhaps under the mental health issues are going to be astonishing, I think, when we see those numbers. I'm not talking about just Quincy. I'm talking about nationally. So I think for all the right reasons, we need to get the kids back in safely, of course. So looking forward to it.
All right. Good to talk to you.
And I think this is the first time in a long time the council will be meeting in person as a joint convention.
Yes, it's been I think it is the very first time, actually.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, they were encouraging the kids to get back in class, so time for them to get back in class, right?
Doctor, heal thyself, is that? You know what I'd ask you, Mayor? Any word on the Adams Library books from Boston?
No word yet.
Oh,
no.
All right. Okay.
As I understand it, they've asked their attorney to look at the issue, but they have not responded either formally or informally to us. So at some point, we'll probably send a follow-up love letter and see where we go. I know I've said it a million times. If anything, first of all, I think morally they belong to Quincy. There's no question. John Adams is one of them here. Two is legally, I think if you look at the will, they belong here. The exposure could be that they have spent some money over the time preserving the collection, and maybe there's a cost to that we'll have to look at. But beyond that, I don't see where the argument is. When Charles Francis Adams decided to take them out of Quincy, if you look at his readings and his thoughts at the time, he seemed to be getting quite arrogant and snooty, didn't like the direction Quincy was going in, and he moved from Quincy. He moved the books out of Quincy. Who is he? I know he's a descendant, but John Adams, the president, was explicit on where they're supposed to be. There was no doubt. There was no gray area. And now I think with what we're proposing to house them, I think should put beyond any doubt that we can handle it. So we'll keep you posted. But once we get through the springtime with the General's Bridge, that's going to be a major celebration. Once we get through that, then all guns will be pointed in that direction. So we'll fix on it after May.
Okay. We need to start to talk again about Quincy 400 too. That's I'm sure changed a little bit since all this happened. So
well, indeed, and when we haven't stopped talking about it internally, and there's some stuff going on. But yes, publicly, it's tough to have that conversation.
Sure. Always a good conversation, Mayor. Appreciate your time.
Well, stay warm.
Thank you. Yes, you as well. And let's get through winter together.
Sounds good. Take care, Joe.
Bye-bye.